All right, well, here, we're gonna go ahead and you start with this first session. People can follow up and come in later, and they can also look at the recording. Our discussion today is gonna be about setting up your real estate business. The first couple of things to do, just setting up your real estate business 101. And I have here with me sidekick Brenna. She's a great person that helps out here with us, and is going to be working hopefully with a lot of you in the future. You give us a call, you talk with us, come on board and work with us. She's a pivotal part of the pivotal cog in this wheel here. But let's just start off. You have some questions we want to discuss about how to work with the business.
I think we're gonna do kind of like a question answer, where I'll ask the questions and Joe will give all the answers.
But you got to chime in and correct me when I'm wrong.
I'll do my best. So I guess first, why are we even talking about this? Why would we be interested in setting up our real estate business as an LLC?
Well, setting up your business as an LLC gives you a lot of protections from your personal assets and your personal wealth. You want to be able to protect yourself. You've got your business activity. A lot of things can go wrong with your business. There are many different ways you can operate as a business. And, you can have your business operation run it as a sole proprietorship. And in that situation, there is no delineation. There is no, break between your business and you personally. So if something were to happen, now everything that you have personally is going to be at risk. And that's something that you don't want to happen. You don't want to risk all of your personal assets, your home, your investments, your kids' investments for their future. You want to be able to protect yourself, and an LLC provides that.
So it's like the simplicity of being a sole proprietor, but with the protections, the legal protections of a corporation.
Exactly right.
So what are the steps to setting up a business as an LLC? Is it something like it's easy that I can do myself?
Yeah, definitely is something that you could do yourself. The states have these legal requirements for setting up this entity. An LLC is an actual separate entity that exists like a U.S. person. So for legal purposes, an LLC is a legal U.S. person as defined within the legal system. So you actually have to create it. And you can do that by going nowadays. Pretty much all of the states allow you to do these things online, and you'd be able to go on to the state's particular website, Secretary of State website, or some other business services website of the state that you could file what's called an Articles of Organization. And you do that online. You give certain data points of information, like who's the owner and some background address, background of the owners. You have to choose a name of the company, and the name of the company must have the letters LLC at the end of it, or Limited Liability Company, or L.C. Something where when someone sees the name or reads the name, they know that it's a limited liability company that's been formed. So you go through that process. You pay anywhere from $100 to $200 or $250 online with the state, and that can organize the entity. If it's just you and you alone, you don't need any additional documents. You don't need any operating agreement that spells out how things are going to work between multiple partners. So it's fairly easy.
Are there any other federal forms that I would need to worry about, or?
So with an LLC, after you create it, you may need to get an EIN. That you can do online again at irs.gov. And you choose, you may want some support and, a little consulting to guide you through the process, because it is very particular. And with the IRS, they're always very particular about certain things and how to answer certain questions. But that is something that can be done online within about 15 minutes. And then you'd be able to obtain an EIN, which you could use for if you had payroll, or if you had to open up a bank account, or if you had to file any certain tax reports that would be required. And that's all depends on how you're actually filing.
So I think that kind of leads into my next question, but after you set up your business, you legally have this LLC, what is the next step? Is it opening that bank account? What is the next step after that?
Yeah, so after you set up the LLC, you have that created. Yeah, the next thing, as you pointing out, is the bank account. You want to get that bank account open, so now you've got, you have a place that you're going to be able to receive money, and you're going to be able to pay for the expenses of the company. And, you want to get a credit card that you can use to pay for certain expenses for the company. And if the credit card is not exactly in the company's name, as long as you have a personal credit card that you use specifically for the business activity. So you're gonna have a business bank account. If you're a single member LLC, individual, then you can open up a bank account with your personal social security number, but it would be a DBA in the name of the business. And so that's a business activity. And then you have a credit card, even if it's in your personal name, but it's going to be business activity only. You just don't want to have it all commingled together with your personal bank account and personal information. It's difficult to spread apart, and you want to be able to segregate these two operations that are going on, your personal and your business. So then you can solidify, you can define, and you can verify those expenses and be able to take those deductions.
Yes, you're talking a lot about the importance of separating the business and the personal once we have our LLC set up. In terms of like communicating with customers, is it important to kind of do that same thing on social media, or your letterheads, your business cards, things like that? Yeah, it definitely is important to do that. You want to be able, or no, you need to communicate that your clients and your vendors and everyone that you're interacting with, that they're interacting with the company, with the LLC, not with you personally. And again, this is because you want to have that separated. Your clients and all of your partners that you're working with need to understand that this is a limited liability company that they're working with. And so all of your letterhead should have the name of the company on there with you. And then your the card, your business card that you might hand out or put in the fishbowl at the deli should be the name of the real estate company that you have. I'm John Doe, but I've got John Doe Realty LLC or JD Realty LLC. That's going to be my business card with my name on it as owner. And that's what I'm passing out to everybody.
it's important and a requirement that when you interact as the company itself, that you have that well presented to those people that you're interacting with.
Sure. So now that we're, separating, personal and business and making sure that that delineation, what is your recommendation in terms of how to do that? What, is there an accounting software that you recommend, or is this? How would you recommend going about that?
For tracking.
Mhm.
So this leads into, tracking all of the activity that's happening. And also when you want to push it out and network and market and advertise, you can have IG accounts, Facebook accounts, or other things that are in the name of the company that's not personal, and push that. And then when you get all of your transactions, your sales and your income and revenues that are coming in to the bank account and the expenses, now you have to figure out if you're doing well, not doing well, account for your income that's happening. And you can do that in a couple of ways. You can grab your monthly bank statements, use Excel, and just go through all of the items and track it that way. Or you could use an accounting or a bookkeeping software. I'm sure everyone's heard of QuickBooks. You probably see a lot of commercials out there that, QuickBooks for self-employed, and the mobile app that's available for them. That's a great software, a great tool that you could use, where you can link your bank accounts and your credit cards, and all that activity is downloaded every single day. You'd be able to go in and track that information. You can categorize it, so then it comes in and it shows as a nice profit and loss statement, and it shows up with a nice balance sheet, so you can see the assets that you have, and like the car that you just purchased, and the loan to pay for that car. And then when it comes time for you to be able to file tax returns or provide some business information to the banks, and maybe you're getting a loan for something, or rather another mortgage for your house personally, they want to see, let me see the last 2 years of your tax information, and give me your year-to-date activity. Well, if you have it on QuickBooks and you kept up with the categorizations, then you have your year-to-date financial information available for you in very short order. And then it also gives you the opportunity to take a look at that information. Am I doing well during the year? Am I making money? Am I losing money? Where am I spending money? Am I spending too much money on marketing relative to my GCI that I have coming in? I should only be spending, say, 12% on marketing, but I went crazy and I'm spending 15%. So that's either I increase my marketing that I shouldn't have, or the marketing that I have purchased is not providing the results that I thought it would. So now I need to look at that expense. Should I then, cancel or change some of the marketing, that I have? So, keeping track of that activity is really important, and it just expands far greater than just having that information to give to someone in February or March to do a tax return.
Right, and I think you're kind of leading into my next question, where you're mentioning tax filings. What additional, tax filings do I need to be aware of now that I have this business?
Yeah, so the thing with the LLC, the beauty of it is that it's very flexible. So the LLC, by default, if there's just a single member that is the owner, then it's going to be considered a disregarded entity. And so that information will be reported on the owner's tax filing. If it's an individual, it'll be on a Schedule C within their 1040. If there are multiple owners, that's a multiple member LLC, by default, that would be a tax return, a partnership return that would need to be filed. So it would have its own tax filing, calculate the income activity, produce a form that's then shared with the owners, and they would report that income and pay tax on their forms. But there are also other tax entity types reporting entities that it could also choose to be an S corporation, a C corporation. So you want to look at your situation and speak with your advisor and understand, how should I be taxed in this new business? And then once you determine that, then that leads you into, okay, I'm being taxed in this way. I need to file, at this time. If I'm going to be a partnership, let's say, then I will be filing a partnership return, which is going to be due 3/15. If it, say, calendar year company, which they typically are, it'd be due March 15th. You could get an extension 6 months, and then it would be due 9/15. The thing with partnerships, that's not going to pay any tax. It's going to calculate what the taxable income is, but then you individually would have to report that income and pay the tax. So then you would want to gather that information so that you can prepare an estimate or your own tax return so that you can make those tax payments on your personal tax filing or extension, which is due by 4/15.
Are there any tax benefits to this business being set up as a partnership versus like a flow through entity versus reporting it on your personal income taxes? Are there any deductions that?
Yeah, so a partnership and an LLC, single member LLC that's just reported on your Schedule C, those are very similar in nature. Your benefits in that situation are very few. They're, like I said, they're very similar in their filing. So the benefits and the way everything is reported are going to be very similar, side by side. One type of entity filing for an LLC that is vastly different is an S corporation. That is has a background in C corporation, so it's got that benefit, that protection, and you have all of the benefits that are afforded to the owners that are not available as a partnership or a Schedule C sole proprietorship, regarding payroll and health insurance, retirement accounts. But it doesn't have the detriment, it doesn't have the bad parts of C corporation, which everyone looks at as the double taxation. It is a flow through type of reporting. So whatever activity is in the S corporation, that's being passed on to your individual tax return. You're going to pay the tax at that level. But there are a lot of strategic a lot of tax opportunities, a lot of planning and strategy that you can put into place that would really reduce your tax liability versus filing as a sole proprietor or with a partner as a partnership.
Well, it sounds like there's a lot to consider, when you're setting up your LLC. And yeah, I think I've made it through my list of questions. So I don't know if you want to open it up. If there's any questions in the audience, I know attendance is a little low, but.
Yeah, we got, let's see here.
Looks like people might have trouble getting in like we did.
Yeah, yeah, it seems like it, but I will say that this is being recorded. And what we could do is, if anyone has any questions when they're setting this, when they're watching this back, we can go into the CSC community forums. We can, that was one of the things that I had requested, to have a forum set up for the tax side here. And if anyone has any questions, they can jump into there, ask some questions, and we can look at that and get with you. And hi, Bill.
Hi, so I have a question. I've been talking to my accountant about setting up an LLC as either an SCorp or a C-Corp. Right now I'm a sole proprietor. What would be my benefit to set up either an S-Corp or a C-Corp LLC?
So right off the bat, you have with an S corporation, that's more beneficial than a C corporation. Because with a C corporation, that company is going to file its own tax return, and it's going to pay tax on that, on that income. It's going to be 21% flat rate. Then any money that is within the company that you pay to yourself, that you distribute, that's going to be considered a dividend. So you're going to be taxed on that as well. So it's double taxation if you're a C corporation, 21% for the income piece, and then 15% for the dividend that's coming out of the company and into your personal bank account. Yeah, those two together, you're going to be, just south of 35%. There's a little bit of cutoff on it, but yeah, it's close to 35% in taxation, and that's flat. If it's an S corporation, that's a flow-through entity. So that means that income is going to be flowing from the company. They will file a return, but that's just a reporting document that's going to the IRS. And then that's going to be shared with you. You would report that on your individual tax return. And then that income is going to be taxed. But the benefit there is those tax brackets are graduated. So you're going to start at 10%, and then it goes up across. So you might be with $200,000 of taxable income. You're going to be in the 24% tax bracket. So that's a lot less than the 35% that we were talking about on all of the income. And any of the dividends or distributions that you would pass out from the S corporation to you personally is not going to be taxed. So we're at single taxation. So those are the differences between the two of those. You're definitely in a better position running as an S corporation. And then you're, as an S corporation, you're miles ahead in benefits than filing as a sole proprietorship. You have some benefits. Your health insurance would be able to be deducted. You have retirement benefits that are available to you. Since you have an office at home, being in an S corporation, you have opportunity for employee expense reimbursements. So then that can help you deduct some of the costs that you're covering personally for the business itself. Yeah, and that's a better reporting than filing as a sole proprietor on a Schedule C and taking a home office deduction.
Oh, okay, because he's been telling me that there is no benefit between a sole proprietor and an LLC S corp. He's telling me that I get the same pass through and it's the same Schedule C, and honestly, I don't believe him.
Well, I'll tell you, the income with an S corporation, the IRS requires you to take a reasonable salary.
Mm.
Okay, as a Schedule C, all of that income is subject to self-employment tax. So let's just say, for shits and giggles, $150,000 is what your business income is. That's all your revenues minus the expenses that you're taking, $150,000 for both companies, both as a sole proprietor and as Schedule C. Sole proprietor on a Schedule C and an S corporation. Sole proprietor, Schedule C, $150,000. All of that is going to be subject to self-employment tax. That's 15.3%. As an S corporation, $150,000. This is before taking into account a salary for you, but that income that flows from an S corp is not subject to self-employment tax. So that's 0%. So I can tell you right now, from that, you're in a much better position. Because you have 15.3% that you're multiplying by the 150,000. Let's just say you're going to pay yourself $50,000 as a reasonable salary. And then you have 100,000 that's flowing from the S corporation to you. 150,000 times 15.3% versus 50,000 times 15.3%. Here we go. We just saved $100,000 times 15.3%. I just saved you $15,000 in taxes. So there definitely is a benefit to filing as an S corporation versus filing on a Schedule C. And whatever happens on a S corp return does not get reported onto a Schedule C. It shows up on your individual return in a different place, but it's not subject to that tax, that 15.3% tax. So, I don't think you're getting accurate advice.
Thank you.
Yeah. Give him a call and ask him just to look that over again and see what his, response is regarding self-employment tax.
Right. Okay.
You have to look at other factors that, for you, because each person's situation is different.
Okay. Thank you.
Anytime. Let's see here. We got Ryan on here, and he loves me in S corporation. I'm supporting that. All right. So I don't think we have any further questions up here. So if we don't have any further questions, Brenna, let's see here. I'm going to look at my cheat sheet, see if we have anything in here. One thing that's really good to do with your business and you're starting out is to have a game plan, a calendar, if you will, for the whole year. And then you can put down, okay, when do I have certain tax filings due? There are going to be other filings that are not exactly tax related, but are going to be required with the state. You have an annual report that's due with the state. When is that due? And you can have that on your calendar so you can keep up with when that's happening. Estimated taxes might be due at a certain time. Certain tax filings might be due. That's a good thing to do. Obviously, talk with your consultant, your advisor. If anybody has any questions, certainly contact us. We can give you our 2 cents. Obviously, every situation is different, and so we can give you general answers on on things, but when you want to get into detail, get into the weeds of things, just need to provide more specific information so that we can look and give you good, accurate advice, both tax and non-tax. We have Brenna had brought up setting up a checklist, a real estate business checklist that goes through these different steps of creating an LLC, opening up your business bank accounts and your credit cards, and so forth. And we can put this up as part of the community to set up a business. All right, we're going to sign off. And we enjoyed everyone. And reach out to us, and we look forward to hearing from you soon. Take care. Bye
Thanks,
now.
everyone.